Welcome to my channel. My name's Amy. I hope you're all having a great day. I'm sitting on the porch. Scout, hi. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Say hi, my name's Scout. Today, I thought I would make a video. On a life lesson that I learned years ago that I want to pass down to the future generations. I made this channel for my son and for other relatives to kind of document our lives in the Catskill Mountains in the 2020s. I wanted to document important recipes that we love so that we would have a video record of those recipes. But I also have videos on the Catskill area of New York State and decorating and crafts and other things that interest me. And that's kind of what this channel is morphed into, is kind of my life as a homebody with my puppies. But since I did originally want this channel to benefit my son and my nieces, my nephews, future grandkids, I thought I would make a video on an important life lesson that I learned when I was 28 years old. It took me 28 years to figure out this life lesson. And so, I thought, you know what, let me make a video and share this lesson with the YouTube world. All right, so of course, my son knows this story by heart. He thinks about it all the time, actually, when he's working. But for posterity, I'm going to share this story with YouTube. So this goes back to my graduate school days. So I moved out west for graduate school. My now husband came with me, and we lived in Sin. We lived together. So I've been with my husband longer than we've been married. So we've been married 23 years. Yeah, 23 years. It'll be 24 years this November. But we've been together almost 30 years. So when I was living out west and I was in grad school, I took a lot of minimum wage jobs. And my husband worked, my boyfriend worked. And we scraped by barely because we didn't really want to ask our family for money. So we just kind of lived within our means, and we just kind of try to figure it out. So I did a lot of minimum wage jobs, and I was in grad school for several years. So for several years I did minimum wage jobs to make ends meet. And I did a lot of different jobs, as did my husband. So I have worked in a lot of retail work I did. So, including Walmart, I worked in the mall, in a children's store. All right, so those minimum wage retail jobs ended up teaching me a very, very valuable life lesson that I always used to tell my son the story. Here I am in my 20s. I have a college degree. I'm working on a graduate degree, and I have to work. I have to get the only jobs I can find, because I'm not ready to teach yet, because I'm trying to work my way up to being a teacher. The only jobs I can find are retail minimum wage jobs. That's mainly what I did. I did other jobs too, but mainly retail. And I was a horrible employee in retail because I had a horrible attitude. Because I thought I was better than those jobs because I had education. I had a degree. And so in my mind, these are meaningless jobs that I'm going to give the bare minimum effort to. And that's my attitude. I had an attitude in those retail jobs. I didn't do good work. I did the bare minimum work. Never was in a good mood going to work. I always had a chip on my shoulder. I just wasn't a good employee at any of these retail jobs. But the worst attitude I had was when I worked at a department store in Arizona by my house. We lived in Phoenix. There was a department store by my house that I got a job at. This department store, by the way, is out of business now. It doesn't exist anymore. So I'm not going to name it. I ended up working in the kids department of this department store. I was a horrible employee. I hated it. I hated the job, and I didn't try to hide it. So I was just bad attitude, complained every minute of that job. the first one to complain about everything, and did a half-assed job. And again, in my mind, this job is below me. I'm only doing this job temporarily. It was a terrible experience. I made the job a terrible experience because I didn't have a good attitude about it. So when you are an employee and you come into work with a chip on your shoulder, you're not going to get any rewards from work with a chip on your shoulder. And so the managers weren't thrilled with my work. It showed. They had an attitude with me. I had an attitude with them. I was the first to complain about everything. And to me, this was just a temporary job that I didn't care about. And I wasn't going to show them that I cared because I was above this job. So I had that kind of attitude. So it was a miserable experience. I wanted to go to New Jersey for the holidays, so I quit, and I thought they'll probably rehire me when I come back in January, or I'll just get another minimum wage job. Who cares? It's just a minimum wage job. And so I quit. I gave them 2 weeks notice. I went home for a couple weeks for the holidays, come back to Arizona in January, go back to the store to ask for my job back. Surprise, surprise, they don't hire me, of course, because I was a terrible employee there, so why would they rehire me? So they didn't call me back. I didn't get that job. Across the street was a store that was part salon, part they sold hair accessories, shampoos, makeup, that kind of store. So I just went across the street and I applied to work there. Again, another minimum wage retail job, and they hired me. So I end up across the street at this other job. I was miserable at the department store. I was very unhappy. I hated going into work. It was very upsetting. I didn't have any friends there. And when I was going into this new job, I made a shift. And I decided, I'm going to pretend this is my new career. I'm going to forget about the teaching and my other goals in school. And I'm going to go into this job with a new attitude. I'm going to change my attitude and I'm going to give 100% because I never gave 100% any other retail job. But this job, I decided, let's see if I shift my attitude, if the job is tolerable, if things are better. So I ended up being a cashier at this store. Let me give you a little backstory real quick. This store that I worked in had a rewards card. And this is back in the late 90s when most stores didn't have rewards card. It was kind of a new thing. But if you signed up for this free rewards card, then the company would send you coupons. And the more you spent, you would get more coupons and, bonus points. So as a cashier, I was hired as a cashier. We were asked to promote this rewards card and try to get as many customers as possible to sign up for the rewards card. So I decided I'm going to be the best cashier this store has ever seen. And I am going to really, really push these rewards cards that they expected us to push. Again, I just changed my attitude. I decided I was going to do my best on this job. I was going to be happy to go in. I was going to give 110%. I was going to see where that took me. Because having a bad attitude in my other jobs took me nowhere and just made me miserable. So I thought, everything's going to shift. So every single customer, I would ask if they had a rewards card, and I would push the rewards card. And I was selling those rewards cards. They were free, but I was really the salesperson for those rewards cards. And there were 2 cashiers. We would work together in the same shift, and we had little baskets, and people would fill out their name and address on this little postcard, and then I would collect the postcard, and they would get like a rewards card, to use when they came in to shop. By the end of my shift, I would have 20 postcards in my basket, and the other cashier who was working the same shift as I was would have 2 or none, because that cashier didn't care. The other cashiers always had the attitude I used to have in my other jobs. So But I didn't care. I was going to be the best cashier they ever saw, and I was going to get as many people to sign up for the rewards cards as I could. So at this particular job, every month we would have a meeting after the store closed, an employee meeting. They would announce who were the employees of the month, and a lot of it for the cashiers was based on how many rewards cards. Well, I was blowing all the other cashiers out of the water when it came to the rewards cards. They couldn't even touch me because by the end of the month, I had so many customers sign up for the rewards cards where they had hardly any. And I was always the winner of the employee award. And it wasn't just an award in paper. They would give us, whoever was named the monthly employee, we would get prizes of inventory from the store. So I would come home. My boyfriend, my now husband, Joe, he would be home. I would walk in the door with shopping bags of free merchandise that I had won from being such an excellent employee at the store. Oh, look at Chipper. He came to visit. I have all the stuff that I won. I still have it. I won, you wouldn't believe the stuff that I was getting from being a good cashier. Makeup bags, makeup brushes, fancy perfumes. I was getting, they gave me free makeup, shampoo, brushes, comb sets, mirrors, shopping bags. I would come home with shopping bags of prizes. That again, some of the stuff I still have today. Like I still have the makeup bags that I won, and the mirrors and things that I still have this stuff. And Joe would be so impressed. Like, every time you come home from these meetings, you have your bags and bags of merchandise. I'm like, I know, I keep winning. It suddenly clicked to me at 28 years old how your attitude at work can really impact the benefits of work, but also the overall experience. Because I was having fun at that job. It was fun to be a good employee. It finally clicked that it hadn't, all my arrogance and my attitude wasn't benefiting me. Take an opportunity that you have and turn it into something good. Attitude at work matters. Go in with a positive attitude. Do 100%. Give 100%. And you will get so many more rewards than if you give 50% or if you have an attitude. Change your attitude and the world opens up for you. That was a valuable lesson. I'm going to shift and go inside for a minute and then continue with the video. So, attitude at your work matters. If you have a positive attitude, you will reap many more rewards than with a negative attitude. And again, I was kind of old when I learned this lesson at 28. This isn't a lesson you learn in school. I went to school, I went to college. I never learned this lesson about how to be a positive employee. Nobody ever taught me that. I was taking history classes. You don't learn that in history class. This is a life lesson that I never learned in high school or college. But attitude does matter. And if you decide you're going to be positive, you're going to be enthusiastic, even if it's not your dream job, the rewards that you get from that are going to be tenfold. And I'm very grateful that I learned that lesson when I did, because I do still apply it to my career now. I'm not saying I'm a perfect employee. I don't think anybody can be a perfect employee, but I do try to go above and beyond in my job. If I'm asked to volunteer to be on a hiring committee or be an advisor to the students in, let's say, for a club, I always say yes, because I want to go above and beyond my job description. And I want to have a good attitude. And I know that what you put out there comes back to you. So if I'm going to be a positive, great employee, I will be rewarded for that 10 times. So that's the lesson that I learned when I was 28. And I have told this lesson to my son, but I wanted to make a video so that it's recorded for future generations or anyone who that might benefit. Say hi, Chipper. Say hi. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Say bye-bye.